By now, we pretty much all know that dry fire is the way to get good at shooting. But not everybody quite understands how to use a shot timer during your dry fire sessions. So, in this episode, I want to go over how to use a shot timer to make sure you're getting the most out of your dry fire sessions. So everybody knows we're dry firing a lot, probably 10 to 1 dry fire reps to live fire reps, maybe even 100 to 1 dry fire reps to live fire reps. And we're spending most of our time in dry fire. And then we go out and do some live fire to confirm that what we're doing in dry fire is actually working. But not everybody understands how to use a shot timer. So let me break that down a little bit for you. First and foremost, we want to make sure that we are in a safe area, we are still pointing the gun in a safe direction, and that we have no ammo in the room that we are actually dry firing in. I have a clear gun. You want to check, double check, triple check that your firearm is indeed clear. Also, I have a magazine with dummy rounds, and then actually the top round is just empty brass. That is so I want the weight of this magazine, but I have no actual rounds in the room here with me. So, how am I using a shot timer for dry fire? So, a lot of people understand of having a random start time set up on their shot timer. We can go ahead, hit the button, it will randomly go off. When it randomly goes off, I will complete whatever the action is, whether it's a draw, it's a reload, maybe it's a move to a position, whatever. Everybody does understand having the shot timer as the stimulus to actually draw the gun. But what it's not telling us is if we are getting any faster. Steve Anderson talks about this a lot. Scott Jelensky of Modern Samurai Project talks about this a lot, having the different modes of practice. You've got speed mode, you've got accuracy mode, and then you have what Steve Anderson calls match mode, or Jedi from MSP talks about real mode. You have those different modes of practice. When we are dry firing, once we have figured out that we can safely and effectively pull that trigger straight to the rear without making that sight bounce or do anything, putting a round exactly where we want it to go, we need to start spending most of our dry fire time in speed mode. So how do we do that with a shot timer? So as most of you might even know, that a shot timer most likely will not pick up a lot of your dry fire reps. There are some out there on the market that may claim to do it. They may not. This right here, Pocket Pro 2, will not pick up anything from a trigger pull, the click, or the reloads, or any of that. So I have to rely on a par time. So what I do is I go in here and I set a par time that is pretty close to the time it'll take me to complete the task. So let's just take a simple draw. All right. So here I go ahead and hit the button. The first beep is going to give me the stimulus to go. And the second beep is when I am trying to have sights on target. One thing about dry fire that I prefer, I do not like pressing the trigger on one-shot draws. I think that it'll make you ingrain into yourself as soon as that gun comes out, we press trigger. And that is incorrect. As soon as that gun comes out, we let the sights decide if we need to press the trigger. Because a lot of times people will get into the habit of get the gun out, bang, and then a round goes not where it was intended to. In a competition, it goes to a Delta, Charlie, Mike, no shoot, something like that. In a defensive situation, it's quite worse than that. So I am trying to train myself and my brain to understand when my gun comes out, I find sights. So for this exact drill, all I am doing is I am grabbing the gun out of the holster and putting acceptable sights on target. I am not pressing the trigger. Let me go ahead and do that again. So notice I beat that time one more time. So I easily had sights on target before the par time or the second beep went off. So to make sure we stay in speed mode, I want to adjust that par time. So that was a 0.9 for sights on target. I'm going to adjust to 0.7. Let's go ahead and give that a shot. So I'm pretty close. Let's go one more. So that time I beat 0.7. What I'm getting at here is if you can beat 0.7, you need to have your par time at 0.6. If you can beat 0.6, you want to have your par time at 0.5. Let's give it a run at 0.5. So that is about the number where I cannot make it, but I'm pretty close. One more. So I'm making sure that I'm using the par time when dry firing, and the time on the par is slightly faster than I can actually complete the rep. It's like lifting weights. If you're going to bench press 135 pounds every single time you go into the gym, you will never bench press 185. You have to keep adding the resistance. The par time is the resistance. It is the weight. So we want to make it harder and harder or quicker and quicker to complete that task. Now, let's move into a different drill. Let's work on being aimed in at a target. When the timer goes off, I've reset the par time to 1 second, but when the timer goes off, I am going to attempt to reload the gun and get sights back out on target. The par time should be a little bit tough for this. I may not actually make it. Let's see what we can do. So a little fumble on the reload. That's about the right par time right now. Let's continue. So one thing you will notice when you are in speed mode, you will start fumbling whatever it may be. The draw, the reload, maybe a 3 reload 3. You will start fumbling with that. Don't worry about it. Let it go out of your head. You are dabbling in speed mode and you are trying to find as fast as the action can be performed, as humanly possible or at your skill level. Let's go one more time. Maybe I'll get one correct. So much better, pretty close, did not make the par time, but I'm still chasing that 1 second par time. So we're using a shot timer every time we're up there dry firing. Once we realize we can pull the trigger straight to the rear, there's no reason to dabble in accuracy mode while dry firing. We've got that covered. So we want to spend all of our time in speed mode, trying to get as fast as we can. It doesn't matter if you're doing a 3 reload 3 or just a draw or a reload or a malfunction or a carbine drill. It does not matter. You want to make sure that you are using your par timer and or your Pocket Pro 2 timer, using a par time on there and having that carrot dangled right out in front of you so you keep getting faster and faster. If you want to get faster and want to learn how to shoot your pistol rifle shotgun a little bit better, check us out at green-ops.com. There you'll find our schedule for upcoming events, pistol rifle shotgun. All of those are up on our website. If you want to give me a follow, I'm Green Ops Luke on Instagram, and also you can check us out at Green Ops Inc. also on Instagram. Thanks everybody for watching. Make sure you are getting faster. Like I said, there are 3 modes of practice: speed mode, accuracy mode, and real mode or match mode. Make sure you are spending your dry fire time in speed mode. Find out where the edge of speed is for your exact skill level by dry firing in speed mode as much as you can. Mom, love you. Everybody else, we kind of like you, and hopefully we'll see you out there on the range sometime soon.